What's up, guys? So I know it's been a fat ass minute since I dropped a video, but today I'm going to be bringing you a quick little build video for Season of the Wish, and it's going to revolve around the Starfire protocol. I know it's not what it used to be, but because of all the stuff you can get in the artifact and stuff right now, there's a pretty mean build that you can get going with this thing. So in the gameplay footage here, you can see I'm doing a solo Master Lost Sector, and I'm absolutely just walking through all of these champions and enemies like they're not even there. I am only power level 18, 16 going through this, so keep that in mind. I am very underleveled. I don't even have the artifact or anything maxed out. Anyway, getting into the build. Of course, we're going to need the Starfire Protocol, which is going to give you an additional grenade recharge from empowered and weapon damage, with empowered weapon final blows granting more energy. Defeating targets with fusion grenades grants rift energy. So with this, to give you some more specific numbers here, according to DIM's community insight, it is going to passively regenerate 20% of your grenade. It's just going to give you 20% additional recharge. While you are in a rift or well of radiance, you are going to get 20% grenade energy on weapon kills and 2.5% grenade energy from weapon hits with a 0.4 second cooldown. Now this is also really cool because it's going to give you 100% of your well back for getting a fusion grenade kill. So if you use your well to get your grenades back, killing something with one of your grenades will instantly give you your well back. So kind of a nice little touch there. And of course it's going to give you your extra grenade and whatnot. But jumping straight into the subclass here, we're going to run the Empowered Rift just because you have to be standing in this to get certain benefits. This or obviously Well of Radiance, which is why we're running that. But to get all of your grenade cooldown bonuses, you're going to want to throw down your Empowered Rift first before you kill stuff, if at all possible. You're still going to get a pretty good amount of cooldown and everything with this build without doing this, but if you really want to make sure you're getting those grenades back really fast, you want to try to throw this down whenever you can. That goes for your Well of Radiance as well. This season, there's a lot of really good builds and stuff going around with Solar, and there's a lot of really good ways to get your super back really fast. With this build, you're going to be getting your super back fairly quickly, so I wouldn't worry about popping it if you need to. Your glide, personal preference, doesn't really matter. I run the Incinerator Snap just because it applies more Scorch, but it is a lot closer range than the other one, so if you need a little bit further range for your melee, then you can go with the Celestial Fire. Then of course, you're going to need to use the Fusion Grenades, or else this entire build goes to hell. For your aspects, you're going to use Touch of Flame and Heat Rises. Heat Rises is really optional. You could go with Icarus Dash if you really wanted to. I just go with Heat Rises, so if you want to use Heat Rises, you can. It's also another form of healing if you're desperate for some HP. But overall, of course, Touch of Flame, just so you get the extra explosion from your Fusion Grenade, get that extra damage in there. For the fragments, we're going to run Ember of Torches, Ember of Resolve, Ember of Searing, and Ember of Ashes. So Torches is going to cause you to become Radiant just for using your melee on enemies. Really nice, really handy. Of course, Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you. I know this is a newer fragment, and it's just nice because it just adds a little bit of extra healing to the build that it previously did not have in the past, so that's really nice. Because if you're standing in your Empowering Rift, obviously you're not going to be getting health, and you have to stand still, so it can be nice to be able to get some health back just from throwing your grenades. Ember of Searing, you're going to get melee energy and create a fire sprite just for defeating scorched targets, which is really nice because with this build, you're going to be scorching everything all the time, like 24/7, so it's going to be lots of free melee energy and fire sprites and stuff, which of course your fire sprites are going to grant you grenade energy, so that kind of feeds into the build as well. And then Ember of Ashes, just so you apply more Scorch. It's just going to make them ignite sooner, get more damage off in general, so that's really nice. And of course, in turn, that's also going to help you with things like Unstoppables because they get stunned from ignitions. So getting onto the weapons and stuff, main one you're going to want here is the Wither Horde, of course, just because this is going to give you damage over time so that even when you're not using this primary kinetic weapon, it's still giving you damage to help regenerate your grenade. So you can hit an enemy with the Wither Horde, swap to your secondary, and be damaging them with that. So you have two forms of damage, giving you your grenade back just as fast as possible. Then, of course, These two really don't matter. I'm running the No Survivors with Demolitionist just because it's a fire submachine gun and I happen to have it, and the Demolitionist works kind of nice because it's a grenade build. And then the corrective measure is just because, I mean, it's a corrective measure. I have a pretty good build on this gun as well. It has a Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. Pretty decent for a grenade build. I mean, 2 grenade rolls, it's not bad, and the gun itself is just pretty solid and has a really good amount of damage, so no specific reason for running it. It's just a solid all-around gun. Like I said, you can run anything here, but I would highly, highly recommend running a solar submachine gun or just solar, some kind of rapid-fire weapon on this secondary slot, and I will tell you why in just a moment. It is going to help the build out a lot. It's not necessary, but I would highly recommend it if you want the build to function as you see in the video. Getting over to the armor, you're going to want to run Ashes to Assets, Heavy Ammo Finder, and Harmonic Siphon. That's what I run on my helmet. These two, obviously very optional. If you wanted to swap the Heavy Ammo Finder out for another Ashes to Assets, you could. Obviously, those benefits do degrade the more of these you have on there, so I usually only run one. And I like to have plenty of heavy ammo, so that's why I run that. And the Harmonic Siphon, of course, I'm running a solar, so if you are running that solar secondary, it's always nice to have for the extra orbs. But you could definitely double down on Ashes to Assets or whatever else you want. You're mostly just going to want to have Ashes to Assets at the very, very least. On to the gauntlets, you're going to want a Firepower, Momentum Transfer, and Impact Induction. Of course, orbs for grenade kills. Damaging enemies with grenades is going to give you your melee back, and damaging enemies with your melee is going to give you your grenade back, so those two kind of feed into each other really nice. Onto the chest piece itself. Of course, you could just run whatever damage resist mods, you know, your activity calls for, but I almost never do that. I usually just run a sniper damage resistance and then some kind of reserve mod. Of course, since I'm running that corrective measure Void light machine gun, I'm doing the Void reserves, but whatever fits your build or guns you're using, whatever, you know, run that. For the boots, I am running Recuperation, Absolution, and Innervation. You're going to be making a pretty good amount of orbs with this build, so it's always just nice to have the extra health if you have to stay mobile and move around. This is, of course, just going to help for all of your cooldowns, so why not? And Innervation, of course, once again, the whole build revolves around grenades, so getting those grenades back up really fast is always nice, especially if you can't be in a well for any reason, then this will really help get your grenades back up. Getting on to the Warlock Bond, we have Outreach, Bomber, and Reaper. Outreach is going to give you your melee back for using your well. Bomber is going to give you your grenade back for using your well. And Reaper is going to allow you to create orbs after using your well, so I know it's a rift, I always call it a well, but your empowering rift, it's just going to give you a little bit of everything back along with letting you create orbs of power, so that's just really nice. Feeds into everything, so you can almost constantly keep all of your abilities in a loop if you're doing the loop correctly. And of course, you're going to want to spec max resilience. That goes for basically every build ever. And then I just went for more discipline. And then you can see I also have fairly high recovery here, but mostly just the resilience. Honestly, you get a lot of grenade recharge from this build anyway, so the discipline isn't totally necessary. If you wanted to, you could spec it more into like strength or intellect to get your super back faster. This is just the specs that I went with here, but not totally necessary. As long as you have the 100 resilience, you're pretty much solid. And then getting into the artifact, you can see I don't even have my artifact maxed out this season, so you definitely don't need anything too crazy. Haven't even put that much time in this season. Of course, whichever of these you're going to want, doesn't really matter, whatever you're running. Then Kindling Trigger, this is just nice because if you are Radiant, which you're going to be Radiant almost all the time, your guns are now going to apply Scorch to unscorched combatants. And remember, we have that fragment where if you kill a scorched enemy, it is going to give you melee energy and spawn a fire sprite. So that is really nice and just kind of feeds into itself. Of course, this is just extra ability damage taken and Scorn. Now this one is quite important. Flint Striker, Rapid Solar Weapon Precision Hits, and Rapid Solar Weapon Final Blows grant Radiant. So these two are now going to kind of feed into each other. As long as you're getting headshots or just crit hits in general, or killing a lot of little guys with your solar weapon, you're going to become Radiant. And once you are Radiant, your gun is now going to scorch everything you shoot, and if you're killing those things you're scorching, everything is now going to give you melee energy, and it's going to be dropping fire sprites every now and then, so it's really, really nice. This one only really matters if you're playing with a group, of course, but it is still nice to have. And this one is very, very solid. Causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions and bosses for a short duration. Of course, this is really nice if you're going up against a champion and you're not already radiant. You can hit them with your melee ability, which will cause that weaken debuff on them, make you radiant, and then you can start tearing into them, and you're going to be doing a stupid amount of damage. But overall, that's about what you're going to want your artifact to look like. Like I said, I don't even have this last row of artifact perks unlocked, but this would obviously be very nice if you have a Rays of Precision. Very, very nice. But I don't have it. I would definitely spec into it if I did, but I don't, so do that if you have it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. And other than that, that's probably about going to be it for the build, guys. I mean, do a quick little recap. That's what that looks like. Aha, there we go. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking like overall. Anyway, guys, if you guys liked the video, let me know. Go drop a comment. Let me know if there's something in the build you would have done differently, or if you have any other ideas for something you'd want to see in the future, then please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, subscribe, like, and as always, I still kind of do like men.